Just let me know. Are we going? It's going right now? Yeah? Okay.
I had nothing to say though, so I'm
Okay.
just going to start recording.
All right, sounds good. Well, high impact. This is kind of what we have to do for youth group for right now. We've got some really crazy stuff going on. But we have this as an option for y'all to watch at home with your family or on your own, on your mobile device or whatever you want to do. So we have been in a series about dating. We're not going to do any more about dating. The coronavirus has effectively killed the end of that series. So we're not going to be talking about dating anymore, thank goodness. However, what I do want to talk about is fear and Jesus in the midst of all the craziness that is going on. So we're experiencing a lot of fear and dread and anxiety during this time of sitting at home. A lot of you, you can't go to school anymore. Homeschoolers, you're already fine with that. But then some of you, can't actually go out and hang out with friends right now. And you're really not sure where things are going to be going from here, if things are going to get worse, if things are going to get better, and there's just a lot of dread and anxiety. So what I want to look at is a time in Jesus' life in which he was experiencing a lot of dread and sorrow emotionally. So Matthew 26, starting in verse 36, "Then Jesus went with them to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, 'Sit here while I go over there and pray.'" This is right before Jesus is about to be arrested. And the thing that he has on his mind is he wants to go and he wants to pray. And I think that that's probably some good advice for us right now, is in the midst of all the things that we're feeling, we should probably want to go and pray. And taking with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, that's James and John, he began to be sorrowful and troubled. Just as an encouragement to us, Jesus is sorrowful and troubled. Like there's sometimes people will say, hey, don't get sad, get glad, Jesus raised from the dead. There's no reason for you to be sad. There's no reason for you to be troubled. And I think Jesus would probably look at us and be like, what the heck? I was sorrowful and I was troubled. So don't shut down your emotions just because other people tell you to. It's fine if you are troubled during this time. It's fine if you feel some dread. Then he said to them, "My soul is very sorrowful, even to death. Remain here and watch with me." So a couple of things with this is he brings some people with him. And yeah, we have social distancing going on right now. But maybe ask a few people from your small group to be in a text chain, a group text with each other, and invite people into your life during this time of isolation to be praying for you. Because a lot of us are lonely and sorrowful and troubled during all this stuff. The other thing would be, he says, "Remain here and watch with me." Well, we know that Jesus is about to go pray. So what are they watching for? Are they watching for the Romans to come? Is that what they're watching for? I think what Jesus is telling them to watch for is watch for what God is doing in this moment. So just as an encouragement to you, watch for what God is doing in this moment. I know things look kind of dark and very much end of the world-y right now, but God's doing something. He wouldn't let it into our lives if he wasn't doing something with it. So watch for what God is doing. And then this is the last part I want to encourage you with. And going a little farther, he fell on his face and prayed, saying, "My Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me." The cup that he's talking about is the cup of suffering that he's about to experience. The physical suffering that he's about to experience. The quarantining from God that he's about to experience. He doesn't want to go through that. But he says, "Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will." So what I would say to you is, when you're talking to God and trying to find comfort with him, you can totally tell him what you want to happen in this situation. That you don't want to get sick, that the people around you, you don't want them to get sick, your loved ones, you don't want them to get sick, that you don't want to have to go through this. you can tell him that. Don't shut down who you are and your emotions just because, it might not be the Christian thing to do. Jesus is the one that is our example, and he's asking God to not go through this. At the same time, don't shut God down in what he wants to do in your life through this. So say, yes, God, this is what I want. I really want this to happen. I don't want to get sick. I don't want these people to get sick. I want this to be all over. But then don't turn God into just a magic genie saying, if he doesn't answer my prayer, then, God's not listening to me. He is listening to you. But let him be who he is. Submit to his will. Say, okay, God, this is what I want, but if you want something better for me, then not what I will, but what you will. And I just encourage you to practice that in your life, because the reason why we have hope beyond death, beyond sicknesses, and all the things that we're going through right now is because Jesus said, no, I don't want this to happen, but not what I will, but what you will. And he went to the cross and died for our sins so that we don't have to be afraid of death if that's the worst thing that came out of all of this. If death happens, guess what? We get to go and be with Jesus, which Paul says is way better than anything that we could experience right here. So, application, bring your fears to God. He's happy to listen to you and answer your prayers. But at the same time, watch for what God might be doing and submit to what he wants to do through this time in you. Thanks, guys.